Today I thought I would do a video all about my childhood fears. As a kid, I was scared of everything. I think I was actually scared of my own shadow. Well, the first thing that I was scared of are clowns, and I'm still kind of scared of them today, actually. I was in a shopping centre with my mum when I was really young. I must have been about 3 years old, and a clown just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, seriously, this guy was dressed up as a clown and he was on like the stilts too, so he was really tall. And I just remember freaking the hell out and just cowering behind my mum. I think I actually started crying at one point as well. That was the first time I'd ever properly seen a clown. I'm still a little bit scared of them. Animatronics. They really freak me the hell out. So you can imagine when I'm sitting playing like Five Nights at Freddy's, or I'm sitting watching footage of Five Nights at Freddy's, I was past myself. I went to Florida. Basically Disney and Universal and stuff, they use quite a few animatronics. Some rides have like over 100 animatronics in them, like Splash Mountain has a shit ton, Pirates of the Caribbean. So I was just kind of like surrounded by them in Florida. And it's one of the fears that hasn't gone away either. Like, for some reason there's just something that I don't like about them. The third thing is kind of really silly to be scared of, but I was afraid of seaweed. I remember going to the beach tons of times as a kid. The seaside was like amazing. I loved the seaside. To be honest, this kind of links in with being scared of the sea. I'm a good swimmer. I learned how to swim. I've been a swimming galas. I've competed, yet I am actually afraid of the sea. Seaweed is something that I found really scary as a kid, and I think it was just I stood on it once and it was like the feeling of it in my toes just made me cringe and I hated it. I don't know why I developed a fear over it. Like, I would cry sometimes at seaweed. That's how much of a strange individual I was when I was younger, guys. Another one is the dark. I am scared of the dark, and I am still kind of scared of the dark. Not as much of when I was a kid, but I'm still quite scared of it. And I don't know why, that's just a fear I've had since I was younger and it hasn't gone away. Sometimes at night I would sleep with the light on, or I'll sleep with my phone light on. Getting locked in. I remember when I was a child, public toilet cubicles would be one that I was really scared of doing, because I'd walk in the cubicle and I would be afraid to lock the door. I don't have this fear anymore, by the way, but I think this fear came from when I was younger and I was playing with a relative of mine. We were playing for some reason with like a sleeping bag, and he shut me in and zipped up the sleeping bag and I couldn't get out for ages, and I think that's one of the things that made me claustrophobic too. So when I would go to the bathroom, I wouldn't lock the door. I would put my foot under the cubicle door so no one could open it. I still get scared of getting locked in, but not to the point where I won't shut the toilet door. And then obviously, as I briefly mentioned, the next thing I was afraid of when I was a kid was confined spaces. And I am still massively scared of confined spaces. I am very much claustrophobic. And this comes from when I was 11 and I had discitis in my back, and it was a really serious thing. I keep intending to make a storytime video on that, but I've had about 10 MRI scans in my life. The first one when I was 11 and I had discitis. My whole claustrophobia kind of came from that, and also what I mentioned before, getting locked in, where a relative of mine like closed the sleeping bag on me. That was something that was a lot like, oh god, that kind of startled me, but not to the point where I'd be scared really badly of closed-in spaces. The MRI scans were what made me really claustrophobic, and I feel like I'm going to be claustrophobic for the rest of my life now, to be quite honest. I was scared as a kid to communicate with people. I was very shy, very quiet, and I'm still quite shy and quiet. I've come out of my shell a little bit, but I'm still quite shy and quiet, and I do sometimes still get nervous about communicating with people. Silly little things like getting bus fare or paying for things at the till. I was scared of Santa when I was a kid. Freaking Santa. This links in with one of my other fears, which is people dressed up. I am scared of people being dressed up. Like, so you can imagine at Disneyland, I was like, oh god, like the parades and everything. I'm not bad with people dressed up as like Disney princesses, that's fine, but It's when people are like with the full suits and like you can't see their face, they're just dressed completely in suits. Like at Blackpool when I was there the other week, there were a couple of people dressed up as like Wallace and Gromit. I love Wallace and Gromit, but I wouldn't dare go and get my picture took with them, you know? No, I know it's just people in a suit and they're just getting dressed up, I don't know. So I was scared of Santa when I was younger. And you know, all the kids would be queuing up to see him because he was at the shopping centre and it was like, Santa's here, let's go and see Santa. I never did that once when I was a kid because I was so scared of Santa. Obviously I'm not scared of Santa now, and that's because he doesn't exist. So the final thing that I'm going to talk about that I was afraid of when I was a kid was Halloween. I was shit scared of Halloween, I kid you guys not. And this obviously links in with the above fear of people dressed up, and I was never big on horror when I was a kid. Like, everything to do with that just freaked me the hell out. If I was out on Halloween night with my parents, some guys in costume would be coming up this way and we'd be like, oh god, I'm on the same side of the road as these like people dressed up, I can't deal with it. So I'd cross the road, go around them and like cross back over when they'd passed. Like that one night of every year, I lock myself in my house. I don't give no sweets out to nobody. The sweets are for me. I still don't answer the door for Halloweeners. I'm obviously not scared as much of Halloween nowadays, as I've kind of grown out a little bit of that people dressed up fear, but it's still a little bit in me. So that is it. That is today's video. A bit of a weird one actually, but I really did enjoy talking about my silly childhood fears. Fears are something that you shouldn't be ashamed of, or whether you're young or old, no matter what kind of fear you have, don't be ashamed. If you've got any crazy, funny or serious fears you had when you were younger that you might still have today, then feel free to comment in the comment section down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. The best way to keep in touch with everything that I do on my channel is to, of course, subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. See you later.